Hey you guys, it's me Laura. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids ages 6, 11, and 13. And today I am going to do a plan with me video for the first unit from Ticket to Learning, which is Light Comes to Shadow Mountain. Yes, I wrote the unit, but I haven't done it with my kids yet. So they've had a lot of input and have shared a lot with me as I've showed them activities and resources throughout. And they're very eager to do the unit and I'm excited to do it with them. I am really bad at doing plan with me videos, you guys, because I am so much in my head. It just kind of happens. And so I am going to do my best to bring you along as I plan this unit. I know a lot of questions. A lot of people are like, how do you plan a unit? There's so much stuff. How do you do it all? So I'm just going to share with you what I'm doing. My process changes from unit to unit, but this is how I'm planning this unit. So I did create some sample lessons for this unit, but I find that for me, if I try and start with sample lessons, I just go absolutely wild. I look at them, but then I have to kind of not pay attention to them because I get really tied down. And a lot of times what's in a sample lesson isn't exactly the way my family works or what we need right now or what's going on. So the first thing I do is I write down my goals for each unit. So for this goal, I really want to focus a lot on science. I want this to be mostly a science unit, so very science heavy. We're also going to be focusing on writing skills. So whether that be in small little activities or whether it be in bigger writing projects like the news article here, we're really going to focus on doing a lot more writing. So even in science, I'm definitely going to use one of the worksheets from this unit that I think is going to be a general resource. If it's not already a freebie on the website, it will be soon. And remind me if it's not, but it's just a scientific method worksheet for doing any project. And I think that we're going to put that in a notebook and use that to increase writing and just really focus on science and writing. And I also know that doing this, I really want to have from the unit our daily reading. I want to have our activities that we're doing from it, so the things that we're pulling out from the reading. I want to have writing or grammar practice every day, like that is dedicated to writing or grammar. Our spelling and vocabulary, which I'll be pulling from the language guide. And as well as I want to make sure that we get through this book in the unit. I really want to have something that's a little bit more structured. So I want to make sure that we get through this electricity book as well. And for every lesson, because this is the whole family, I need to have something separate because I do my youngest, I do her units separate. And I want to make sure that there's activities that she can be involved in. So those are the things that I'm looking for. So I will make a spreadsheet and have all of those columns accounted for. And I know that those are my goals. So it might look very different from someone else planning this unit, but that's where I start. I always know where my goals are, what I'm trying to accomplish, and then go from there. I would like to do about 1 lesson a day, and some of the lessons I am going to spread out. So as I'm planning, here I'm on lesson 8, I'll show you. I've got this chicken scratched. I tried doing it on the computer, but I wasn't sure how that was going to work. So spelling and vocabulary, I'm not going to worry about right now. I'm going to go back in and fill that out later. I'm also going to be adding this book to the mix. And again, I'm not worrying about adding that in at this time because that's just going to run concurrently and it's going to be separate. I'm keeping track of the day or the lesson number, and then the pages that the chapters that I'm going to be reading. And then I'm picking the activities that I'm doing for making sure that I'm covering grammar and writing and making sure that I have some activities for us to do. And so I'm just writing down the ones that I'm picking. So right now, and you can see here for lesson 6, I wanted to cover both about the eyes and the electrical system. So I broke that up into 2 parts instead of 1, and I'm just reading 1 chapter per day for those. I'm on lesson 8, which has 3 chapters. So before I write that down, I'm going to look and see if there's a lot in here so that I can kind of break that up. So I know I'm going to want to do this one and this one. And I know I'm going to want to do this, and I know this is going to take a while. So I might actually split this into 2 days as well. I also really like this and this. So I don't know that I'm going to do this one. I think my oldest might be interested. So definitely there's enough there that I really want to do. So I'm going to break that into 2 sections. So I'm gonna split it. I think I'm gonna do chapter 13 one day and then these the other day. So, and then on this first day, I'm gonna do the watch it. So I'm gonna write that down. And I think I'm just gonna do the stop, drop, and roll. I don't think I'm gonna do both of them. And I'm gonna do it number 1 on this day. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to keep all of the herb stuff together. And for this day, I am going to do the what to do when I'm angry. And I'm gonna do Kitty Alone. And let's see, I think that's all that I'm gonna do that day. But I'm gonna need something for writing. So the first thing I'm gonna do is look back at the last couple of lessons and see if there's anything I missed. I don't think there is. So I'm just gonna pull a grammar activity from the language guide. So I'm gonna put LG there for language guide. And I'll also do that on this next day. And here we're gonna be doing do it 2. And we're gonna be doing from C to remedy. And that I have with the kit. And then I'm gonna go on to my next lesson. And I'm gonna keep doing it this way. So for this part, I'm just gonna keep doing that and write it down, and then I'll show you what I do next for Lily and for incorporating these. And I'm planning this ahead, but once I get down to it, then I will go ahead and put any books that I want on reserve at the library from the information center list and things like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish this part right now. I have all my chicken scratches done. They're really kind of wild. And so this came out to, for us, 27 days. So I'm gonna round that up to 28 days, or about 7 weeks is what this is going to take us to do. And as I'm planning this, I'm keeping in mind that some of these days might end up taking a little longer. That's totally fine. And we can't do everything, which is hard and sad, but I picked the things that I know that my kids are going to enjoy, and I know that meet the goals that I have for them for this unit, which is really important when you have a resource like this that has a lot of activities. Write down what your goals are. That kind of helps me choose and narrow down to what I'm going to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I am going to put it into the computer so that it's actually legible. And then I'm going to go through and break down this book and put these activities in. I'm going to add in my spelling and vocabulary activities. And I'm also going to make note of what I want to do with Lily on these days with my 6-year-old, because I will not necessarily be doing the same thing. So once I get this in the computer and have a format, I'll kind of show you what I'm doing there. I've moved all of my chicken scratches into a document, so now I can see what we have going on. As we get to the end, they're working on a big writing project, and for my kids that's particularly tough. So I made sure to kind of go light on the activities on those days because I want them to have extra time to write, and there were some steps that I thought they would need more time on. So I spread those lessons out over a couple days. And anything highlighted in green, that means I'm going to need to look ahead and make sure we have things on hand for that. There's just a couple days that I need to do that. So now what I'm going to go do is I'm going to go to my literature guide and pull activities for these days that say LG, because I don't have anything for writing or grammar those days in these activities. So I'm going to go, there's actually not a lot, there's just a few. So I'm going to go to my lit guide and pick some activities from those days and put them in. And then I'm also going to fill in what we're going to do for spelling and vocabulary. And now that I know how many days, I'm going to break this book up. I'd rather go through this book slowly and do it over the whole course of the unit than try and squeeze 2 in. So I'm going to break this up and pull it out, and then I've got to pick what I'm doing with Lily. So I'll kind of check back in with you for the different steps here. Another option too is using these handwriting pages, and then there is in here, let's see if I can find it. a guide for using the copywork passages to do grammar. So that's a possibility that I might do as well. I think my kids are not going to enjoy that as much, so I'll just look at the options and see what I think is going to work best. So I put all of that in here, and next I am going to look at spelling and vocabulary. I've got to figure out kind of what my rhythm will be for this, but I think what I'll do is I'll pick one set of vocabulary words and use them for several lessons. Just work on that one set. So we won't cover all of the vocabulary, it'll just be a few lessons here and there, but I think that way we can do vocabulary A, vocabulary B, we can do the copy cover right for spelling, and then maybe one other activity to give them about a week's worth, because we do a 4-day week of work with one skill set, and then in there I might throw in some of the vocabulary card activities for review. So we'll see how that ends up working out. I decided to do a cycle here where they would do vocabulary A, vocabulary B. For the word work pages, I think these are going to be a lot for them, so I'm not going to have them do these for every single word. I'm going to have them pick the 3 most difficult words or 3 words they didn't know or something like that, and do these pages just for those 3 words instead of doing like 10 words all at once, because that would be a lot for all of these. So they're just going to do 3 words on that day, and then they'll do the copy cover right. And then at the end, we'll just do vocabulary review card games with the words that they've already learned to kind of help them review all the words from the unit. So that's what I have decided to do here. I went ahead and separated out all of the lessons, and I picked a few activities that we're going to do. Anything that I'm going to need supplies for, I went ahead and highlighted in green again. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with this extra space, because I don't like having this much space at the end of the unit. Now I have everything in place for this science block here. What I did is I went back through the adventure guide and I looked at some of the multi-day activities, and I added them in. Like you can see here, the animals at night, we can definitely do that for a few days. There were some activities that I didn't have. The Appalachian Earth Guide, we can use that for a few days. I didn't have these lymphatic science activities in my list of things to do because I didn't think that we would have time for it, but I thought they would enjoy it. So now I can add that into this spot, and it'll give us more opportunity to do that. So I just went in and filled in the rest of the days with additional activities from the adventure guide instead of adding another book or anything like that, but we're still going to make it all the way through the electricity guide, and we'll end it on our last day. So now I'm going to go in. As you can see here, I have the animals of the night for my little one over here in this column, because this is a perfect activity for her to do. So I already went through and I flagged all of the activities that I thought that she would be interested in, and I'm going to go through those now and pull in things for me to do separately with her during my one-on-one time with her. And I think a lot of these are going to be recipes because she loves cooking with me, but I'm going to pull in some other little activities for her too. And once I have that done, I will be done with my planning ahead. All right, I have all my planning done. So I went through, and some of the days there's just going to be a lot that Lily does with her brothers because she can just join in for all of it. And then there are other days that I have other things for her. These aren't all completely lined up. Like for example, you'll see down here, I have something from lesson 4 at the very end, just because there's a lot of stuff at the beginning for her and not as much at the end. So we have that. And one thing that I did add is there are 2 math resources here that I actually want to use for math for both of the boys. It will be, some of it will be reviews, some of it will be new concepts, but I thought it would be really good to see math in action. So I will put that in for their math when we get to that unit. And I put that in bold just so that I know. And that is all. So at this point, the only things that I have to do, I'm actually going to wait until right when I do the unit. This is going to be still a few weeks away for us. So a couple weeks ahead, I will be looking to make sure that we have all the supplies that we need for the week for the different activities that I have that need supplies. They're highlighted in green, so they're easy to see. I will also look through the information center for each lesson and see kind of what books we have. I'll put some books on reserve at the library when I get closer so that we can have those in the book basket for all the age groups. I also went through the master book list and I made lists for assigned reading potentials for the boys. so I can pull those right when we get up to it as well. I could go ahead and print all of that off now, but I want to wait because I like keeping things a little bit open, and there's a possibility that we might take a different direction in some of these lesson plans. The lesson plans, just like everything else, is a tool. If we don't follow it exactly, that's okay. So I'll probably print things out that we need every week because I prefer doing it that way, taking it week by week, and then I can adjust as needed. If I've got too much planned or not enough planned, I can kind of pick that up as we go. So for the most part, that's pretty much all that I have. And now I'm just ready to go and I'm excited to get started. Are you someone who likes minimal stuff and bringing in your own resources? Are you someone who likes lots of options to pick from? What kind of program do you like to use when you're planning? I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that you have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions or anything, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.